पहले से, पहले पिछले अवतारी कालों से ही हुई है। और ये जगह भी इस तरह से चुनी गई है कि उसके रेडियस में जितनी जो जगह है, उन जगहों से उसका एक विशेष कनेक्शन है। ये और ये खेल चलता रहेगा। जब भी धर्म की ज्योत बुझने लगेगी, दोबारा ये आएंगे, कोई और मूवमेंट शुरू होगी, कोई और संत आएंगे। इन सब के पीछे इनकी अपार करुणा है और अपार पेशेंस यानी धीरज है। वो रुके हैं हमारे लिए। इन मानव जाति कब बदलेगी, धीरे 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 उसका निवारण कर रहे हैं। अवतार मेहर बाबा की करुणा और कृपा उनके नाम के अंदर भी है और हम उसको देखते भी है। अपनी बात को मैं यहीं पर समाप्त करूंगा। अवतार मेहर बाबा ने की कृपा और करुणा इसी तरह बरसती रहे और हम उनका दामन पकड़े रखे, हम ऐसे लायक बने, यही बाबा से दुआ करते हैं। बोलिए अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। जय बाबा।
अभी जैसे जैसे ये कार्यक्रम आगे बढ़ रहा है, तो हमको अपने छोटेपन का और ज़्यादा एहसास होता जा रहा है। इस तरह से कि वो जो व्यक्ति आके यहाँ बाबा के प्रेम का प्रगटीकरण कर रहे हैं, उसको सम्मानित करने के लिए हमारे पास कोई शब्द नहीं है, कोई उद्गार नहीं है और हम उस ढंग से उनके प्रति कृतज्ञता व्यक्त नहीं कर सकते। तो जितना हम ज़्यादा सुनते हैं, लोगों के भाव सुनते हैं, तो उसमें बाबा उस व्यक्ति के हृदय में अपना कितना प्रेम भरते हैं, उसका प्रगटीकरण है, उस शब्दों का नहीं है। और वो प्रेम की जो बात बाबा बार बार करते हैं, तो वो उन्होंने अपने प्रेमियों के हृदय में इतना कूट कूट के भर दिया है कि उसको हम समाहित नहीं कर सकते। और इसीलिए किसी एक गीत में बहुत अच्छी लाइन है कि जब आंचल में ही न समाए तो क्या कीजिए। इतना प्रेम मिल रहा है कि आपका अपना जो आंचल है वो छोटा पड़ जाता है। और यही यहाँ पे आप उसको विटनेस कर रहे हैं और इन सबको आप सबकी तरफ से अपन मिलकर धन्यवाद देते हैं कि उन्होंने हमारे साथ ये शेयर किया। अभी अगले जो हमारे वक्ता हैं वो हैं पूना सेंटर के प्रशांत जी, प्रशांत अहीर। उनको आमंत्रित करते हैं और वो भी इस विषय में थोड़ा आगे बढ़ाएंगे। समय का ध्यान रखते हुए 10 मिनट का अपने पास समय है। श्री प्रशांत अहीर साहब।
जय बाबा। अपने वैश्विक कार्य के लिए और उसके बाद अपनी चिरंतन विश्राम के लिए मेहर बाबा ने जिस भूमि का चयन किया, वो कोई संजोग की या आकस्मिक घटना नहीं थी। इसके पीछे एक सुनियोजित दैवी योजना थी, जिसके तहत मेहर बाबा यहाँ पे आए और उन्होंने यहाँ पे अपना आश्रम बनाया, अपना सारा कारोबार यहाँ से चलाया। मेहर बाबा ने कहा था कि अवतार या सद्गुरु जहाँ पर रहते हैं, जहाँ से कार्य करते हैं, और फिर वो 1 घंटे के लिए हो, 2 घंटे के लिए हो, 2 दिनों के लिए, 2 वर्षों के लिए हो, लेकिन जितना वहाँ पे वो कार्य करते हैं, उतना उस स्थान का जो आध्यात्मिक स्तर है वो बढ़ता जाता है। अगर इस बात को हम दूसरी ओर से देखें तो हम ये सोच सकते हैं कि पुराने पूर्व सद्गुरुओं ने, पूर्व संतों ने और अवतारों ने जहाँ जहाँ अपना कार्य किया होगा, वहाँ वहाँ उनकी आध्यात्मिक ऊर्जा का, उनकी आध्यात्मिक स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी का संचय रहा होगा। और जब बाद में इस काल के अवतार वहाँ पे आते हैं या इस काल के सद्गुरु जब वहाँ पे आते हैं, तो उसी आध्यात्मिक ऊर्जा का उपयोग करके वो अपना कार्य जो है इस समय का, उसको और बखूबी कर सकते हैं। और इसका एक संकेत मेहर बाबा ने दिया था। 1945 में मेहर बाबा ने सेंट्रल प्रोविंस, यानी अभी तो छत्तीसगढ़ बन गया, लेकिन मध्य प्रदेश में अंगऋषि हिल या अंगऋषि पहाड़ कहिए, वहाँ जाकर मेहर बाबा ने एकांतवास किया था। और अपने एकांतवास में मेहर बाबा ने ये कहा था कि यहाँ पे जिन योगियों ने, जिन ऋषियों ने, जिन मुनियों ने यहाँ पे तपस्या की है और जिस तरह का जीवन उन्होंने यहाँ पे बिताया है, इससे जो वातावरण बना है वो मेरे कार्य के लिए बड़ा अनुकूल है, बड़ा पोषक है। तो ये स्वयं मेहर बाबा ने कहा है। तो ये स्वच्छ है कि पुराने अवतार या पुराने सद्गुरु भी जहाँ जहाँ काम करते हैं, वो अपने ऊर्जाओं की पूंजी वहाँ पे छोड़ जाते हैं, जिसके ऊपर फिर आने वाला सद्गुरु या अवतार या संत कार्य कर सकता है। अगर हम अहमदनगर की बात देखें तो हमें इस आध्यात्मिक धरोहर को समझने के लिए जो अहमदनगर का इतिहास है उसको समझना पड़ेगा। मेहर नोश ने आपको महाराष्ट्र के बारे में बताया, लेकिन मैं उसको थोड़ा माइक्रो करके अहमदनगर डिस्ट्रिक्ट के बारे में आपको बताना चाहूँगा, ताकि हमको ये पता चले कि यहाँ किस तरह की आध्यात्मिक शक्तियाँ शायद मौजूद हो सकती है। क्योंकि हम इसके बारे में सिर्फ अनुमान लगा सकते हैं। हमारे पास ना कोई हीट मैप है, ना कोई गूगल मैप है जिसके द्वारा ये पता चल सके कि कहाँ कितनी ऊर्जा संचयित है, कहाँ से कितनी ऊर्जा उत्सारित या उसका वहन हो सकता है। तो हमें इसका अंदाजा सिर्फ इसी बात से लगा सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे पुराने इतिहास में क्या क्या घटित हुआ था। तो अगर आप अहमदनगर शहर का इतिहास देखें तो ये सिर्फ 500 सालों का इतिहास रहेगा। और जब मेहर बाबा का जन्म हुआ 1894 में, तब तो ये सिर्फ 400 साल का इतिहास था। जो निज़ाम शाह, अहमद निज़ाम शाह, जिन्होंने ये शहर बसाया था, वो बहामनी राज्य से बगावत करके विभक्त हो चुके थे। तो उन्होंने इस जगह का चयन क्यों किया, इसके लिए एक रोचक कहानी है। हमारे विषय से संबंधित नहीं है, लेकिन मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि एक दिन वो शिकार करने के लिए निकले थे और उन्होंने एक विचित्र दृश्य देखा। उन्होंने देखा कि उनके जो शिकारी कुत्ते थे वो एक खरगोश का पीछा कर रहे थे, और एक स्थान पर ये खरगोश पलट गया और उसने उन शिकारी कुत्तों का पीछा करना शुरू कर दिया। तो ये देख के जो अहमद निज़ाम शाह है, मलिक अहमद निज़ाम शाह, वो बड़े भौचक्के से रह गए। और उन्होंने फिर सोचा कि इस भूमि में कुछ दैवी शक्ति है या कुछ दम है कि जिसके बदौलत एक दुर्बल जीव भी ताकतवर जीव का मुकाबला करने की हिम्मत रखता है। तो इस कहानी में कितनी सच्चाई है मुझे नहीं पता, लेकिन एक बात मैं छाती ठोक कर कह सकता हूं कि मेहराबाद में इतनी शक्ति है कि हमारे जैसे दुर्बल जीव, जो माया के खूंखार कुत्ते हमारे पीछे दौड़ते रहते हैं, उनको अवश्य मुड़कर आंख में आंख डाल के देख सकते हैं। ये मेहराबाद की शक्ति है। तो ये शहर भला 500 साल पहले बना हो, लेकिन शहर के पहले यहाँ भूमि तो थी, यहाँ पानी था, यहाँ निसर्ग था, तो यहाँ भी कई कहानियाँ होगी। तो इस इतिहास को जानने के लिए मैंने इसको 3 कालखंडों में इसको बांटा है। एक तो है पौराणिक, जो कि हम कहते आए हैं, जिसका कोई शास्त्रीय आधार नहीं है, सिर्फ किस्से हैं। लेकिन किस्से तो जीवन के हिस्से हैं, क्योंकि इन किस्सों से तो बातें आगे बढ़ती है, तो इन किस्सों को कैसे नज़रअंदाज करें, तो उसके बारे में सोचेंगे। उसके बाद में त्रेता युग, रामायण और इस भूमि का जो संबंध है उसके बारे में देखेंगे। और पिछले 1200 सालों का जो इतिहास है, जैसे भक्ति मूवमेंट की बात की मेहरनोश ने, तो उसको थोड़ा संक्षेप में देखेंगे। तो चलिए बात करते हैं पुराण काल की। हमारे पुराणों में एक बहुत ही सुंदर मिथक है, आप सभी ने सुना होगा, समुद्र मंथन का। देव और दानव समुद्र मंथन करने चले गए और उसके लिए जो चर्निंग रॉड या जो मंथन करने के लिए जो चाहिए हथियार, तो उसके लिए उन्होंने चयन किया मंदार पर्वत का। तो मंदार पर्वत को उठाया, समुद्र में डाल दिया। अब रस्सी चाहिए, तो रस्सी के लिए उन्होंने जो शंकर के गले में जो वासुकी सर्प होता है उसको विनती की कि भैया तू आ जा। तो वासुकी, जो कि ना देव है ना दानव है, तो वो चले आए और अब ये मंथन शुरू हो गया। अब मंथन के बाद उसमें से कई चीजें निकली, अच्छी बुरी, हलाहल विष निकला, कामधेनु निकली, कल्पवृक्ष निकला, ऐसी कई बातें निकलते निकलते लक्ष्मी निकली। अंत में धन्वंतरी प्रकट हुए, जो देवताओं के वैद्य माने जाते हैं, और उनके हाथ में था अमृत कुंभ। जैसे ही अमृत कुंभ देखा, दानवों ने उसको पाने की चेष्टा की और दानवों ने उसे पकड़ लिया। और अब देवताओं को यह मंजूर नहीं था कि दानव अमृत पीकर अमर हो जाए, तो उन्होंने हाईकोर्ट में अपील की, विष्णु से शिकायत की। विष्णु ने मोहिनी रूप धारण किया और उन्होंने आकर दानवों को अपनी अदाओं से लुभाया, उनको समझाया कि आप अमृत को मुझे दे दो, आप दोनों पंक्ति में बैठ जाओ, मैं अमृत आपको बांटूंगी। अब अमृत देवों को पहले बिठाया था और वहां से बांटना शुरू हो गया। तो जो विष्णु थे वो चाहते थे कि यहीं पे अमृत खत्म हो जाए और दानवों के लिए कुछ ना बचे। लेकिन एक दानव बड़ा होशियार था, तो वो आके देवों की पंक्ति में बैठ गया। चंद्र ने देखा, चंद्र ने सतर्क किया विष्णु को। विष्णु तब तक उसको अमृत दे चुके थे, वो अमृत लेके भागा, विष्णु उसके पीछे भागे, और जैसे वो अमृत पी रहा था, उसके गले से नीचे जाने से पहले विष्णु ने सुदर्शन चक्र चलाया और वो जो राक्षस है, राहु नाम था, उसका जो मस्तक था वो धड़ से अलग हो गया। तो जहां पे उसका वध हुआ राहु का, वो जगह बनी राहुरी। और उस राहुरी में आगे जाकर बाबा ने अपना आश्रम बनाया और मस्ताश्रम भी चलाया। अब उसकी जो छींटे उड़े वो नजदीक की प्रवरा नदी में गिर गए और प्रवरा नदी बन गई अमृत वाहिनी। प्रवरा नदी को नगर जिले में अमृत वाहिनी कहते हैं। ये प्रवरा नदी आगे जाकर गोदावरी से मिलती है टोका में, वहां जो कहानियां मैं आगे बताऊंगा, लेकिन अभी पहले पुराण को खत्म करते हैं। अब ये क्या संजोग की बात है कि नगर जिले में जो एक नेवासा करके एक तालुका है, वहां पे मोहिनी का मंदिर है, बहुत कम पाया जाता है, लेकिन नेवासा में है। तो मैं तो समझता हूं कि इस कहानी का कुछ ना कुछ तो कनेक्शन है इस भूमि से। आगे चलते हैं। अब जब पुराणों की बात है तो ऋषियों की भी बात करते हैं। एक ऋषि थे, आपने नाम सुना होगा, भृगु ऋषि। बड़ा नाम है, भृगु संहिता करके बड़ा ग्रंथ उन्होंने लिखा है। सप्तर्षि में से एक थे। माना जाता है कि ब्रह्मदेव के पुत्र थे और बड़ी कठिन तपस्या की है उन्होंने, और इनके भारतवर्ष में कई जगह पे भृगु ऋषि के आश्रम है। यहां पर आकर भी वो बस गए थे नगर में, यहां पे भी तपस्या की, यहां पे भी एक आश्रम चलाया, और बाद में वो जो स्थान है वो उनके नाम से जानने जाना लगा, और धीरे धीरे उसका अपभ्रंश होते होते आज वो स्थान क्या करके जाना जाता है? भिंगार। बहुत सही, जहां पे हमारे बड़े काका और मेरे ख्याल से छगन मास्टर भी वहां रहते थे। तो ये भिंगार भृगु ऋषि का स्थान है। लेकिन चमत्कार तो आगे है। ये भृगु ऋषि बाद में जाकर उनकी जो समाधि है, होल्ड योर ब्रेथ, भृगु ऋषि की समाधि कहाँ है? भृगु ऋषि की समाधि है भुइंज में। भुइंज कहाँ है? पुणे सातारा रोड पर, जहां बाबा का एक्सीडेंट हुआ उड़तारे में, उससे 5 किलोमीटर पहले भुइंज नाम की जगह है, और इस भुइंज में बाबा ने दर्शन दिया था 1956 में। तो क्या यह संजोग की बात है? आगे बढ़ते हैं। भृगु ऋषि के कई पुत्र थे, उसमें से एक पुत्र थे शुक्राचार्य। शुक्राचार्य भी बहुत बहुत बड़े तपस्वी थे, लेकिन वो दानवों के गुरु थे। जैसे आपने बृहस्पति नाम सुना होगा, बृहस्पति जैसे देवों के गुरु थे, शुक्राचार्य उनके काउंटर पार्ट यानी दानवों के गुरु थे। कहा जाता है कि ये शुक्राचार्य ने मृत संजीवन विद्या यानी मृतों को फिर से, अरे सर, मृतों को मैं आपको संजीवन देता हूं, मृतों को फिर से संजीवन देने की जो विद्या है वो उन्होंने प्राप्त करने के लिए बड़ी तपस्या की। और जिस टापू पे बैठे थे बाजू से एक नदी बहती थी और नदी में बाढ़ आ गई तो वो टापू हिलने लगा। अब शुक्राचार्य की तपस्या में खलल आ गया या बाधा आ गई, तो उन्होंने अपनी कुहनी से उस प्रवाह को मोड़ दिया। मराठी में कुहनी को बोलते हैं कोपर, तो वो बन गया कोपर गांव। अब आप बोलेंगे मराठी तो तब नहीं थी, शुक्राचार्य को मराठी कहां पता है, लेकिन फिर मुझे पता था कि ऐसे कुछ विद्वान यहां पे बैठे होंगे जो ऐसा सवाल पूछेंगे। तो मैंने देखा तो संस्कृत में कोपर को कुरपर कहते हैं, तो कोपर गांव तो बनता है। अब ये शुक्राचार्य की कहानी हो गई। अब आते हैं हम अगस्ती ऋषि के पास। बड़े ऋषि थे और यहाँ पे अकोले करके नज़दीक में एक तालुका है जहाँ पे अगस्ती का आश्रम है। और रामचंद्र वनवास में थे तब अगस्ती के आश्रम में गए थे और अगस्ती ने उन्होंने कहीं आयुध दिए थे, उसमें से एक आयुध ने फिर रामचंद्र ने रावण का वध किया था। बाबा ने कहा था कि साईं बाबा गिव मी पावर, तो यहां पे उस जमाने के एक सदगुरु हम कह सकते हैं कि अगस्ती गेव पावर टू प्रभु रामचंद्र। तो ये अगस्ती ऋषि का आश्रम भी यहीं पे है। राम जब वनवास में थे तब ये सारा दंडकारण्य का भाग था, यानी नासिक नगर सब एक जंगल था। और राम यहां पे आए थे किसी ऋषि के कहने पर और यहाँ पे 2 दिन उन्होंने मुकाम किया, जो बन गया हैप्पी वैली, जो हम जानते हैं। बाबा वहाँ पे बार बार जाया करते थे। बाबा जाते नहीं थे, बाबा आश्रम मेहराश्रम के लोगों को चले भी वहाँ पे लेके गए। लेकिन एक बात गौर करिए, मैंने अभी पढ़ी कि रमजू साहब ने जो डायरी लिखी है अपने पुराने दिनों की, उसमें उन्होंने लिखा है कि 4 मई को बाबा अरणगांव आए, लेकिन 1 मई को बाबा उन सबको लेकर हैप्पी वैली गए थे, राम की भूमि पर। उसके बाद में 3 तारीख को फिर से बाबा उनको लेकर हैप्पी वैली गए। 11:30 बजे रात को वहां से निकले और बाबा इतनी तेजी से चल रहे थे कि सब उनके साथ दौड़ रहे थे। ये डिस्टेंस कम नहीं है, 14 मील की दूरी है। तो बाबा चलते चलते यहाँ पे आए और रात्रि में विश्राम किया और सबकी सांस फूल गई थी, सबका दम उखड़ गया था। दूसरे दिन बाबा चलते हुए अरणगांव आए। क्या यह संयोग की बात हो सकती है कि एक पुराने अवतार के स्थल पे बाबा गए और फिर इस अवतार युग की जो उनकी भूमि थी वहां पे बाबा आए? ऐसी कई बातें हैं जो मैं आपको बता सकता हूं, लेकिन समय अपने पास कम है। और एक छोटी सी बात बताता हूं कि जो नाथपंथी है, क्योंकि बाबा का जो मिशन है वो है स्पिरिचुअलाइजिंग दी वर्ल्ड। अब जब स्पिरिचुअलिटी जब ब्राह्मणों और रीति रिवाजों के अंदर कसकर बंधी हुई थी, तब ज्ञानेश्वर आए और ज्ञानेश्वर ने कहा कि ये संस्कृत की जो गीता है मैं इसको प्राकृत में या लोगों की भाषा में सबको बताऊंगा। और फिर उन्होंने नेवासा में, जो मैंने बात की नेवासा की, मोहिनी का जहां मंदिर है, नेवासा में ज्ञानेश्वर ने ज्ञानेश्वरी लिखी। और उन्हीं के समकालीन एक संत थे चक्रधर का भी यही कहना था कि सारा जो आध्यात्मिक ज्ञान है वो सरल भाषा में लोगों तक पहुंचना चाहिए। ये चक्रधर ने भी काफ़ी समय अहमदनगर जिले में बिताया है। जो नवनाथ है, नवनाथ अगर आप देखेंगे सारे नवनाथ अहमदनगर की भूमि से कहीं ना कहीं जुड़े हुए हैं। कानिफनाथ मड़ी में है जो बीड़ रास्ते पे है। गोरख और मच्छिंद्र जो गुरु शिष्य थे, डोंगरगढ़ हैप्पी वैली से पहले एक गढ़ आता है। एक छोटी सी कहानी है, मैं आप इजाज़त लेता हूं गोकर्ण साहब से, आपको 1 मिनट में बताऊंगा कि ये मच्छिंद्रनाथ जो एक्चुअली गोरखनाथ के गुरु थे, ये एक स्त्री राज्य में फंस गए थे। मतलब उन्हें मज़ा आ रहा था, वो स्त्री राज्य में बद्ध हो गए थे। तो गोरख जो उनका शिष्य था वो उनको ढूंढने चला गया, और वो जो फेमस लाइन है, चल मच्छिंदर गोरख आया, ये कहते कहते वो जा रहे थे, तो मच्छिंदर को फिर पता चला कि मैं कहाँ फंस गया हूँ, ये मेरा तो जीवित कार्य नहीं है। तो वो वहाँ से निकले। जो रानी थी उनको उनसे बहुत ही प्यार था, तो उनकी झोली में उसने एक सोने की ईंट डाल दी। उसने कहा कि आपको काम आएगी। उन्होंने देखा तो उनको भी लगा हुआ कि मेरे काम आएगी। तो बार बार देखते थे कि कहीं खो तो नहीं गई है या कोई चुरा के तो नहीं ले गया है, तो बार बार उसको देखते थे। गोरख ने देख लिया। गोरख ने बोला कि ये तो गलत बात है कि योगी है और एक सोने की ईंट को बार बार देख रहे हैं। एक दिन महाराज मच्छिंद्र महाराज सो रहे थे, गोरख ने ईंट उठाई और फेंक दी। महाराज उठे, देखा कि झोली तो हल्की हो गई। फिर से देखने लगे, अरे कहाँ गई, यहां वहां देखा। तो गोरखनाथ ने कहा कि महाराज क्या ढूंढ रहे हो? तो कहा कि मेरे पास एक सोने की ईंट थी। महाराज वहां देखो। तो वो डोंगरगढ़ का जो पर्वत था वो गोरखनाथ ने सोने का कर दिया, और उसने कहा कि महाराज आपके पास इतनी शक्ति है, मैं तो आपका चेला हूं, आपके पास तो इससे ज्यादा सिद्धियां हैं, तो आप क्यों एक सोने की ईंट के पीछे भाग रहे हो? तो तब मच्छिंद्रनाथ की आंखें खुली और मच्छिंद्रनाथ ने वो वहां पे तपस्या की। उसको कहते हैं मच्छिंद्रनाथगढ़, जो मेहराबाद से बहुत वाम्बोरी रास्ते पे बिल्कुल नजदीक है। तो ये है इसकी आध्यात्मिक पृष्ठभूमि, और मेहर बाबा ने इसका अगर चयन किया है तो इसके पीछे इन ऋषियों का, इन योगियों का, इन तपस्वियों का आशीर्वाद है। और जैसे फिलिप ने अपने भाषण में कहा कि ये भूमि जो है ये अवतार का रूप धारण कर चुकी है। तो यहाँ पे जब हम सांस लेते हैं तो मेहर बाबा हम में सांस लेते हैं, और हम यही चाहते हैं कि जितना अधिक हम मेहर बाबा को अपने अंदर समा ले, यहाँ आकर एक भी मौका न गंवाकर, क्योंकि दिन ऐसे आएंगे जब यहाँ पे पाँव रखने के लिए आपको जगह नहीं मिलेंगी, क्योंकि जैसा कहते हैं कि ये तो सिर्फ झांकी है, मैनिफेस्टेशन अभी बाकी है। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
अभी हमारे पास 2 और प्रस्तुतिकरण हैं, उनको हम ख़त्म करके फिर रामकृष्णैया जी को आमंत्रित करेंगे। तो नेक्स्ट है अभी डॉक्टर आशिमा आचार्य, प्लीज़ कम।
जय बाबा। जो मैं आप लोगों के साथ शेयर करने वाली हूँ, व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू शेयर विद यू ऑल इज़ अ स्टोरी विच हैपेंड 100 years ago। तो एक गिलोरी शाह आप लोगों ने देखा होगा, नीचे उनकी टूम है, मज़ार है उनकी। उनका नाम, उनको हज़रत मौला के नाम से भी जाना जाता था, और वो एक मुस्लिम सेंट थे। तो वो जहाज़ पर काम कर रहे थे, और फिर कुछ समय बाद उनको इंग्लैंड की महारानी विक्टोरिया के किचन में उनके बावर्ची का काम भी मिला, और उन्होंने उनके लिए काफ़ी सालों तक खाना बनाया। और जब उन्होंने डिसाइड किया कि अब मैं छोड़ के जाना चाहता हूँ, या शायद रिटायर हुए होंगे, एग्जैक्टली हमको भी नहीं पता, तो उनको कुछ सिक्के एक थैली में दिए गए थे। शायद सोने के सिक्के थे, और ऐसा कहा जाता है कि शायद 15,000 सिक्के थे। और वो जब वापस वहाँ से निकले हिंदुस्तान आने के लिए, तो उन्होंने वो सिक्कों की जो थैली थी, द बैग ऑफ द कॉइन्स, ही थ्रू इट इन द सी। तो इससे ये समझ में आता है कि उनको शायद दुनियादारी की कोई चीज़ों से ज़्यादा लेना देना नहीं था। फिर वो जब घूमते घामते हिंदुस्तान पहुँचे, तो फाइनली वो अहमदनगर में सेटल हो गए, और उनको जड़ी बूटियाँ, दवाइयों के बारे में जानकारी थी। तो उन्होंने अहमदनगर में यूनानी दवाखाना खोला। ही स्टार्टेड अ यूनानी क्लिनिक एंड ही स्टार्टेड ट्रीटिंग द पेशेंट्स। तो वो इधर उधर जाया करते थे, कभी कभी लंबे वॉक के लिए चले जाते थे। तो एक बार घूमते घूमते वो आरन गांव पहुंच गए, और वहाँ पहुँचे तो उन्होंने ये ज़मीन देखी जो मेहराबाद, जहाँ हम आज बैठे हैं। और हम सुबह से ही सुनते आ रहे हैं कि ये जगह उस समय एकदम निर्जन, वीरान और बंजर थी। देयर वर नो ट्रीज, इट वाज लाइक अ जंगल। सो ही लाइक्ड दिस प्लेस एंड ही टोल्ड हिज डिसाइपल्स कि आई वुड लाइक टू स्टे ओवर हियर। और फिर उनके डिसाइपल्स ने उन्हें बताया कि ये जो ज़मीन है ये एक पारसी फैमिली नगर की है, उनको बिलोंग करती है। और तो वो उस परिवार को जानते थे, और उसमें एक महिला थी गुलमाई, जो कि बाबा के सेक्रेटरी हुआ करते थे, आदि ईरानी उनकी माँ थी। उनको वो पहचानते थे, तो उन्होंने उनसे मिले और फिर उन्होंने उनसे कहा,
Gulmai, I really like this place. I want to spend the last few years of my life at this place. Gulmai, मुझे आपका ये ज़मीन बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद है. मुझे अपनी ज़िंदगी के आखिरी दिन आपकी एरिया में स्पेंड करना है.
तब गुलमाई ने उनसे कहा,
But Hazrat, that is a jungle. What will you do over there? Who will take care of you? Who will get food and water for you? हज़रत, वो तो एक जंगल है. वहाँ पे आपका ध्यान कौन रखेगा? आपको खाना और पानी कौन ला कर देगा?
तब गिलोरी शाह ने उनसे कहा,
These devotees of mine, they are of no use to me. I don't need their help. मुझे इन लोगों की मदद की ज़रूरत नहीं है. ये मेरे कुछ काम के नहीं है.
उस समय कुछ रईस कसाईयों ने भी उन्हें ज़मीन देने की कोशिश की. There were some wealthy butchers who offered him the land, but he liked गुलमाई's land. उन्हें गुलमाई की ज़मीन ही पसंद थी और वो बार बार उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करते थे कि मुझे थोड़ा सा हिस्सा उसमें से दे दो. इसी तरह इस बार भी जब वो गुलमाई से रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे थे तो उन्होंने उनसे कहा,
Gulmai, give me a small portion of your land. Take me over there, make a room for me over there, and then you bring Upasni Maharaj, and then you bring Meher Baba also. I would suggest you make that a sadhu khana. गुलमाई, आपका जो ये ज़मीन है, मुझे उसमें से थोड़ा सा जगह दे दो. आप मेरे लिए वहाँ पे एक कमरा बना दो. फिर आप वहाँ पे उपासनी महाराज को भी ले आओ, मेहर बाबा को भी ले आओ. आप उस जगह को एक साधु खाना बना दो.
धीरे धीरे एक साल बीत गया. ऑलमोस्ट अ ईयर पास्ड बाय एंड गुलमाई सॉ अ ड्रीम. उनको एक दिन एक सपना दिखा. उन्होंने देखा कि एक छोटा सा बच्चा कपड़ों में लपटा हुआ उनकी गोद में बैठा है, गोद में लेटा है, और वो बच्चा उस कपड़ों के बीच में से झांक झांक कर उन्हें देख रहा है. A baby was wrapped in clothes in her lap and was trying to peep out through the clothes and looking at her. When Gulmai tried to look at her, जब गुलमाई ने उस बच्चे की तरफ देखा तो उसका चेहरा देखते ही वो आश्चर्य से चीख उठी.
That is गिलोरी शाह. ये बच्चा तो गिलोरी शाह है.
तब गिलोरी शाह ने इस बच्चे के रूप में उनसे कहा,
गुलमाई, माँ, you are not giving me any land. Where will I rest now? माँ, आप तो मुझे कोई जगह नहीं दे रहे हो. अब मैं आराम कहाँ पे करूँगा?
तब गुलमाई उनसे बोली,
ओके महाराज, I will give you that land. ठीक है, मैं आपको वो जगह दे दूँगी.
गुलमाई woke up from her dream. उनका सपना ख़त्म हुआ और वो नींद से जागी. एंड शी स्पोक टू हर हस्बैंड. उन्होंने अपने पति से बात की और उनसे रिक्वेस्ट की कि तब उनके पति ने उनसे वादा किया कि हम गिलोरी शाह का अनुरोध मान लेंगे. और अगले ही दिन गिलोरी शाह अपने कुछ डिसाइपल्स के साथ इस जगह पर आए और उन्होंने एक जगह पसंद की. और फिर उन्होंने अपने डिसाइपल्स से कहा,
I want my grave to be made at this place. मुझे अपनी कब्र इसी जगह पे चाहिए.
तब उनके डिवोटीज बोले, पर यहाँ कौन आएगा आपकी कब्र पर? ये तो बिल्कुल उजाड़ जगह है. Who will come at this place? No one is living here. Who's going to come to your tomb over here?
You are like children. You don't know anything. This place that you are calling a jungle, one day it's going to become the garden of pilgrimage. A great saint will come over here, and then this place will belong to the people of the world. Then you will understand why I want to be buried in this place.
तुम सब बच्चे हो, गिलोरी शाह उनसे बोले, तुम्हें कुछ नहीं पता. एक दिन यहाँ एक महान व्यक्ति आएगा और ये जगह एक बड़ा तीर्थ स्थान बनेगा. इस जगह पर दुनिया भर के लोग आएंगे और ये पूरी ज़मीन विश्व के सभी लोगों की होगी. और आगे गिलोरी शाह ने ये तक कहा कि जब मैं मर जाऊँ तो मुझे बैंड बाजे के साथ यहाँ लाना तब किसी ने कहा कि यदि आपके जो भक्त हैं, डिसाइपल्स, उन्होंने बैंड बाजा लाने के लिए आप उनको परमिशन नहीं दी तो उन्होंने कहा तुम बैंड बाजे के साथ लाना, और यदि कोई तुम्हें रोकने की कोशिश करे तो उन लोगों को तुम खदेड़ देना, मगर मुझे यहाँ बैंड बाजे के साथ लाना। और जब मेहर बाबा आएंगे, उनके आने के पहले मेरी कब्र यहाँ तैयार होनी चाहिए। ब्रिंग मी व्हेन आई डाई, ब्रिंग मी विद अ बैंड, मेक श्योर माई टूम इज़ रेडी बिफोर मेहर बाबा कम्स हियर। एंड दैट इज़ वॉट हैपेंड। और आज पूरे 100 ईयर्स, 100 साल के बाद, आफ्टर 100 ईयर्स टुडे, वी ऑल आर गैदर्ड हियर, हम सब यहाँ इकट्ठे हुए हैं और हम गिलोरी शाह की उस भविष्यवाणी को सच कर रहे हैं कि आज ये जगह पूरे विश्व के लोगों को बिलोंग करती है। जय बाबा।
जय बाबा।
And before we invite Ramakrishna Yaji, one more last presentation is there. So just be noting down everything and then share with us. So last one is from Naushirwan Anjar. This is recorded one. Please, we have Naushirwan Anjar's recorded program.
जय मेहर बाबा। Jai Meher Baba. My name is Naushirwan Anzar. Thank you all for inviting me to share a few unknown nuggets mined from beloved archives about Hazrat Gulori Shah, who predicted that Meher Baba would settle in Meherabad, where the saint is buried. Here is a photograph of Hazrat Gulori Shah. We are making this recording in the darshan room of beloved archives. Behind me you see a magnificent photograph of Meher Baba taken at Devonshire Retreat in 1932. Two chairs on which Meher Baba sat during his visit to Dehradun during the New Life and in 1953, and in the middle you have his sandals, where people who visit the archives bow down in reverence. Victoria, by the grace of God, Queen of Great Britain, Empress of India. The Queen had assumed the title with alacrity, and it was with profound sense of personal satisfaction that the proclamation was made in May 1876. For the Queen, it was a fitting symbol of her concern and interest in the subcontinent that she was destined never to see. The thought of being so distant from it frustrated her. In a letter to Lord Lansdowne, the then Viceroy, she was to write wistfully. The Queen Empress is much interested by his description of his tour and is very jealous of all that he had seen, for she would give anything to visit India. Her age and the long sea voyage ruled out a journey to the fabled land. But if the Queen could not go to India, India would come to her. On 21st June 1887, the Queen celebrated her Golden Jubilee and recorded vividly in her journal. The morning was beautiful and brought with it fresh air. At 11:30, we left the palace. I was driving in a handsomely gilt landau drawn by 6 of the creams when dear Vicky and Alex, who sat in the back seat, just in front of my garage rode the 12 Indian officers, and in front of them my 3 sons, 5 sons-in-law, 9 grandsons, and grandsons-in-law. In celebration of her jubilee, the Queen had been sent a unique present, nothing less than a group of Indian servants. Sir John Tyler, Governor of the Northwest Provinces, had been partly responsible for recruiting Indians suitable for the duties they were to perform. It was planned that the Indians should act as khidmatgars or table servants in the first instance and gradually be put to other useful tasks. So firmly did their presence take root that eventually more Indians arrived, forming a distinctive group within the Queen's melange. One of the first was 24-year-old Abdul Karim. He was soon to become the Queen's friend and trusted confidant, but anathema to her family and household. She became his willing pupil in Hindustani and confided to her journal, "It is a great interest to me for both the language and the people. I have naturally never come into real contact before." In time, Abdul Karim became officially the munshi, or the teacher of the Queen. Eventually, he went on to be gazetted the Queen's Indian Secretary, made a companion of the Indian Empire, and decorated with the Indian Star. Perhaps he beguiled the Queen with a personality of refinement and grace, apparently carrying no trace of his origins in the bazaars of Agra, where his father was a Hakim, or a native doctor. Another Hakim, a Yunani doctor who served Queen Victoria as a cook and doctor, was an Indian, Shamsuddin Gulori Shah. After serving the Queen and introducing the Indian curry to Her Majesty, Gulori Shah, who was a mystic, chose to leave her service and return to India in the late 1900s after the death of the Queen, who passed away on January 22nd, 1901. Before her death, she had bestowed on her khidmatgars, Abdul Karim, Muhammad Baksh, Gulori Shah, and other Indian table servants, considerable wealth for their service to the empire. An ascetic and spiritually advanced soul, Gulori Shah discarded the monetary gifts and other valuables bestowed on him. He landed in Bombay and headed for Ahmednagar, where he set up a Yunani clinic in Zenigate, Old Ahmednagar Bazaar. Here is a photograph of his clinic in Zenigate. It is located near Kali Masjid on Kacheri Road. On the right-hand side, the clinic is the first left of the Zoroastrian fire temple. These details I'm giving you for those who wish to visit the clinic that is still in existence. Another photograph that I'd like to show you is of the inside of the clinic. This is a photograph of the inside of the clinic. And the lady you see towards the right of the photograph is a kind of a caretaker of the clinic, where a Yunani doctor still functions. Now, what is Yunani? And what do Yunani doctors do? Yunani medicine is an ancient Greek system of medicine based on the qualities of 4 temperaments: the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical causes of illness or health, and believes that everyone should take responsibility for their own well-being. The threads that comprise Yunani healing can be traced back to Claudius Galenus of Pergamum, who lived in the 2nd century of the Common Era. The basic knowledge of the Yunani medicine as a healing system was collected by Hakim ibn Sina, known in the West as Avicenna, in 980 CE in Persia. Subsequently, Ajmal Khan, who was born in India in 1864, is generally acknowledged to be the most significant 20th century contributor to Yunani medicine in India. Yunani medicine, like Western medicine, originated with Hippocrates and his followers. The Yunani system of medicine is practiced widely in Iran, Pakistan, and India, and Gulori Shah was a specialist of Yunani medicine. He visited the Irani family in Ahmednagar very often and treated them. Gulmai and Kekeshru, who were the parents of Rustam and Adi Irani, revered him, and he was also invited to inaugurate and open the doors of their home, Sarosh Manzil. So he was respected by the Irani family, and was often called upon to treat him.
है कि अभी हमारे रामकृष्णैया जी बहुत शॉर्ट में जो कुछ हुआ उसको आपको बताएंगे, और ज़्यादातर प्रार्थना ये है कि आप लोग यहीं से खड़े होकर प्रार्थना में शामिल हो सकते हैं, प्रेयर्स में शामिल हो सकते हैं। फिर भी जिन लोगों का मन है कि वो समाधि के पास जाएं तो वो वहाँ जा सकते हैं, मगर 7:15 बजे वापस आप यहाँ पर आ जाइए, और 7:15 बजे ठीक से उसी समय यहाँ पर बाबा की जो स्पेशल फिल्म बनाई गई है वो दिखलाई जाएगी। तो अभी हमारे पास सिर्फ 5 मिनट का समय है, तो रामकृष्णैया जी से प्रार्थना है कि आप आके बिल्कुल नटशेल में, जैसे एक पिल में सबको पूरी बात समझा दीजिए।
అవతార్ మెహర్ బాబా की జై। మనం ఇప్పటి వరకు 5గురిని డాక్టర్ ఫిలిప్ ఆయన చేసినటువంటి చాలా స్టడీ అంటే అధ్యయనం ఎంతో చేసి ఆయన ఇక్కడి గురించి 2 మాటలు చెప్పారు. ఒకటేమో ఆరణ్గాం అంటే అరణ్య గ్రామం అని, ఆయన రాముని అవతార కాలానికి పోల్చి అరణ్యవాసం వెళ్ళిన తర్వాతనే రాముడు నిజమైన రాముడుగా అయిపోయాడు అని చెప్తూ, ఇక్కడ అలాగే అరణ్యవాసంకి వెళ్ళిన రాముడిలాగా ఈ అవతారంలో బాబా ఆరణ్గాంకు కుర్సు క్వార్టర్స్ నుంచి అలాగే నడిచి వచ్చారు అని, ఆరణ్గాం అని. దానికి తులసీదాస్ది చెప్పారు ఆయన, రామ్ బన్ గయే అంటే బన్ అంటే అరణ్యం, అరణ్యానికి ఎప్పుడు వెళ్ళిపోయాడో రామ్ బన్ గయే, బన్ గయే అంటే హిందీలో అయిపోయారు అని కూడా, రాముడు అయిపోయాడు అని అర్థం వస్తుంది, దాన్ని చెప్పారు. తర్వాత ఇక్కడ బాబా సమాధిలో ఆ ఫోటో మార్చినప్పుడు ఆయనకి ఎరిక్ వాళ్ళిద్దరికీ జరిగిన సంభాషణ గురించి చెప్తూ, అక్కడ బాబా ఉన్నటువంటి ఆ స్థలము, బాబా ఉన్నటువంటి కూర్చున్న ఆ కిటికీలోంచి, కిటికీ కాదు అది, మనం ముందుకెళ్ళటానికి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మార్గంలో ముందుకెళ్ళటానికి ద్వారంలాగా ఉంటుంది అంటూ, నేను ఇక్కడ ఉన్నాను అని బాబా సూచిస్తున్నారు అక్కడ కూర్చొని అని ఆ 2 విషయాలు చెప్పారు. తర్వాత మెహర్నాష్ ఆయన ఆయన అవతార్స్ కాల్ నుంచి తీసుకున్నారు. తర్వాత ఎప్పుడైతే ధర్మజ్యోతి వెలగటం తగ్గిపోతుందో అప్పుడు దాన్ని మళ్ళీ వెలిగించటానికి అవతారుడు వస్తాడు అని అన్ని అవతార కాలాలలో ఉన్న విషయాన్ని తీసుకొని ఆ విషయం ఆయన చాలా ప్రస్ఫుటంగా చెప్పారు. ఇక్కడ భక్తి మూమెంట్ అని చెప్పారు మహారాష్ట్రలో. అంటే ఇది కాకతాళీయంగా జరిగింది కాదు. ఇక్కడ ఈ ప్రాంతానికి దీనికి సంబంధించినటువంటి ఈ వాతావరణాన్ని ఆధ్యాత్మిక వాతావరణంగా మార్చటం కోసం ఎన్నో జరిగిన విషయాలను ఆయన భక్తి మూమెంట్ను అన్ని తుకారాం అక్కడ బాబా ఎప్పుడు వీళ్ళ రెఫరెన్స్ కూడా తీసుకునేవారు. కబీర్, మీరాబాయి, జ్ఞానేశ్వర్ వీళ్ళందరి ద్వారా ఇక్కడ ఆధ్యాత్మిక వాతావరణం అవతాడు రావటానికి ఈ స్థలం ఆయన ఎన్నుకోవటానికి అది మూలంగా అయింది అని చెప్పారు. అలాగే ప్రశాంత్ అయితే ఇంకా చాలా డీప్గా వెళ్ళి పురాణాల నుంచి ఆయన చెప్పిన ఆ సముద్ర మంథనంలో అమృతాన్ని పంచుతూ ఉంటే రాహువు తాగాడట, అది కడుపులోకి దిగకూడదని సుదర్శన చక్రంతో తలను నరికేస్తే ఆ తల ఎక్కడ పడింది? రాహువు తల రాహూరి అట. రాహూరిలో బాబా ఆశ్రమం పెట్టారు. రాహూరిలోనే ఆ స్థలాలన్నింటినీ అంటే అహ్మద్నగర్ మహారాష్ట్రనే కాదు అహ్మద్ నగర్ చుట్టుపక్కల ప్రాంతాలు అక్కడ హ్యాపీ వ్యాలీ బాబా ఇక్కడికి 4వ తేదీ వస్తే 1 మే హ్యాపీ వ్యాలీకి వెళ్ళారు. మళ్ళీ 3rd వెళ్ళి రాత్రి చాలా స్పీడ్గా నడిచి వచ్చారట 11:30కి. సో ఇదంతా కూడా బాబా ఇక్కడ తన స్థలాన్ని ఏర్పాటు చేసుకోవటానికి ఇంత దానికి బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఉంది అనే విషయం చెప్తూ వచ్చారు. తర్వాత డాక్టర్ అషిమా అది మనకు అక్కడ ఇది కూడా అమ్మాయితోని చేయించి కూడా చూపించారు. శివునిలాగా అర్ధనారీశ్వరులాగా గిలోరి షా అండ్ గుల్మాయి 2 పార్ట్లు ఆమె ప్లే చేసి చూపించారు. దాని ద్వారా గిలోరి షా ఇక్కడ అవతారుడు రాబోతున్నాడు అనే విషయాన్ని చెప్పాడు అనే విషయం వారు. తర్వాత నౌషేర్వాన్ అంజర్ కూడా ఆ విషయాన్ని గిలోరి షా ఇక్కడ ఆయన రాబోతున్నాడు కాబట్టి ఆయన సమాధిని ఇక్కడ ఏముంది మీకు ఇక్కడ ఏమీ దొరకవు అని చెప్పినా కూడా ఇక్కడికి వచ్చారు. అట్లాగే బాబాను కూడా అడిగినప్పుడు ఇక్కడ మరి ఏమీ దొరకవు, ఇది ఎందుకు ఎంచుకుంటున్నారు అంటే ఫకీర్కు ఆయన ఎక్కడుంటే అక్కడే అది స్వర్గధామం లాగా ఉంటుంది అని. అది ఆయన ఫిలిప్ గారు కూడా చెప్పారు. ధామ్ అని వైష్ణవ సంప్రదాయంలో ఆయన ఉన్న స్థలాన్ని ధామ్ అంటారని చెప్పారు. మనకి ఇది మెహరాబాద్ ధామం. ఈ ధామం అలా ఇక్కడ బాబా ఇది కాకతాళీయంగా కానీ ఏదో ఇక్కడ దొరికింది కదా అని కానీ కాలేదు. ఇది ముందు నుంచే బాబా తనకు ముందుగానే ఈ స్థలాన్ని ఎంచుకొని ఇది తన విశ్వ కార్యక్రమానికి కేంద్రంగా దీన్ని చేసుకున్నారు అనే విషయాన్ని ఈ అన్నిట్లో కూడా మనం విన్నాము. అట్లాగే ఇది మళ్ళీ చెప్పుకుంటున్నా అనే విషయంలో ఇంతకుముందు ఆయన గోకరణ్ గారు చెప్పినటువంటి స్టోరీ చెప్పి ముగించేస్తారు. ఆయన అన్నారు జడ్జి గారి దగ్గరికి ఆయన ఒక ఆమెను తీసుకొచ్చారట. ఆమె చేసిన తప్పు ఏమిటి అంటే రెడ్ సిగ్నల్ దాటి వెళ్ళిపోయారట, రెడ్ సిగ్నల్ ఉండగా. అయితే ఆమెను తీసుకొచ్చి నిలబెట్టగానే చూస్తే ఆ జడ్జి గారికి టీచర్గా పాఠాలు చెప్పిందట ఆమె. అయ్యో జడ్జి గారికి పాఠాలు చెప్తే ఎట్లాగా, మరి ఈమెకి ఏమి నేను శిక్ష వేయాలి అంటే ఆమెను చేతులు జోడించి అన్నారట, మీరు మాకు ఏ శిక్ష ఇచ్చారో చదువుకునేటప్పుడు అదే శిక్ష మీకు ఇస్తాను. ఒక నోట్బుక్ ఇచ్చి 5 పేజీలు ఇటువంటి తప్పు మళ్ళీ నేను చేయను, ఇటువంటి తప్పు మళ్ళీ నేను చేయను అని రాయమన్నారట. సో అట్లాగే మరి ఇదంతా మనం స్టూడెంట్స్ లాగా ఇక్కడ అది. తర్వాత మెహర్నాష్ చెప్తూ అది పరిపూర్ణత్వానికి చిహ్నం, అది పరిపూర్ణత్వానికి మనం ఏమి ఇవ్వగలుగుతాం? మనం ఏమి ఇవ్వలేము. అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి మనం ఇవ్వగలిగింది ఏమిటి అంటే మన బలహీనతలు. కానీ మన బలహీనతలను మనం గట్టిగా లోపల దాచుకుంటాం, అట్లా లాకర్లు దాచుకున్నట్టు. అది తెరిచి ఆ బలహీనతలను ఆయన దగ్గర పెట్టాలి. పెట్టితే ఆయన కొంచెం ఆయన దివ్యత్వం యొక్క లేశాన్ని మనకిస్తారట. ఆ లేశాన్ని తీసుకొని పోవటం, అందరూ కూడా అలాంటి ఒక దివ్యత్వపు లేశాన్ని తీసుకుపోవటమే మనం చేసే పని. ఆయన పరిపూర్ణునికి ఆ స్థానమైనటువంటి ఆ సమాధి నుంచి మనం తీసుకుపోవలసింది దివ్యత్వపు లేశము. అవతార్ మెహర్ బాబా की जय.
यदि इस कार्यक्रम की पूरी क्रेडिट किसी को जाना है तो वो रामकृष्णैया जी को जाना है, क्योंकि सबसे कठिन जिम्मेदारी उन्होंने संभाली है. अभी हम सब अपनी जगह पर खड़े हो जाएं और आरती का समय हो गया, समाधि की तरफ मुंह कर लें और आरती में यहीं से ज्वाइन करें. जिनको वहाँ जाने की बहुत ज़्यादा इच्छा है तो वो जा सकते हैं. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय.
this place, this most special place, how did it?
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। Now this is the time for our special film. आप सबसे प्रार्थना है कि कृपया आप अपने जगहों पर अपना स्थान लीजिए ताकि फिल्म शुरू हो सके। और ये जो कार्यक्रम हुआ इसी से संबंधित ये नई फिल्म बनाई गई है और पहली बार इसको प्रस्तुत किया जा रहा है। The film is just new and please enjoy the film which is related to this particular program. The film can be started now, please.
This place, this most special place, this place, how did it come to be what it special is? Place. How did it come to be what it is? This is the story of its beginning. This is the story of its beginning. In the year 1878, as part of a famine relief program in the year 1878, people were engaged to plant neem trees along the roadsides in Ahmednagar district. Plant neem trees along the roadsides in Ahmednagar Not long district. After that, a full-gauge railroad line was finished to Ahmednagar after that in the south. A full-gauge railroad line was the British Army, which was occupying India during the 19th century. The British Army, which was occupying India during the 19th century, transportation to the railway to Ahmednagar fort in Ahmednagar, which served as a most suitable facility for their military base. Which served as a most suitable facility for their military base. During World War I, a prisoner of war camp near the Ahmednagar fort held a few thousand non-combatant men from the Axis forces. The accommodations were comfortable enough. From the Axis no one forces. Wanted to escape. The accommodations were comfortable enough. No one wanted Late to escape. Late in 1916, a case of plague was confirmed in the city of Ahmednagar. In 1916, and as per British Army regulatory precautions, the confined men were to be vaccinated against regulatory precautions. The confined men were to be vaccinated against this. Several hundred of the detainees refused to be vaccinated. However, several hundred of the detainees refused to be vaccinated. So as an alternative, isolated place. It was decided that they should be quarantined. The search for a suitable place eventually led them to a site just north of the humble village of Arangam, eventually led them to a site just north of the humble village of Arangam. 6 miles south of the city. Village of the forest, most of the trees in the area were harvested by the end of the 19th century for timber most of the trees in the area were harvested by the end of the 19th century for timber by road. This site was also adjacent to the railway line. Directly accessible by road was dug in the bank of the river adjacent to the railway line, which provided water to a large bank of the river near Arangam, on the top of the hill to the west of the auxiliary campsite. Was constructed on the top of the hill to the west of the auxiliary campsite, which was situated to the supplied water by gravity to the camp down the hill, which was situated to the east of the railway line. Within a few months after World War I ended, the POWs were sent back to their respective countries. The POWs were sent back to their respective countries. For less than 2 years. The POW camp had been used for less than 2 years.
Who was familiar with the
During
British,
its operation, the businessman of Ahmednagar who was familiar with the British, like bulbs and other things to the camp, supplied firewood,
After the camp
incandescent light bulbs,
the
and other
leftover
things to the camp.
supplies and many of the building components
After the
were
camp
sold
closed,
at an
the
auction
leftover
on the site.
supplies and many of the
Kaikushu
building
took part
components
in
were
this
sold
auction,
at
but he
an
did
auction
not
on the
buy
site.
the right to the property.
Kaikushu took part in this
However,
auction, but
soon
he did
afterward,
not buy
man
the
who
right
had
to
purchased
the property.
offered to sell
However,
it to Kaikushu.
soon afterward, the man who had
Kaikushu was
purchased
interested in the
offered
property,
to
though
sell
his
it to
business
Kaikushu.
partner, who was his
Kaikushu was
brother-in-law,
interested in
also
the
named
property, though his
Kaikushu,
business partner,
saw no
who
value
was
in
his
it,
brother-in-law,
since after
also
the
named
auction there were
Kaikushu,
only 4
saw no
structures
value
still
in it.
intact.
Since after the
large
auction,
tank
there
on the
were
hill,
only
a
4
post
structures
office
still
building,
intact.
a bungalow
The large
constructed with
tank
mud
on the
walls
hill,
that had been a mess
post
hall,
office building,
and a building for
bungalow
bathing.
constructed with mud walls
Besides
that had
these
been a mess
4,
hall,
the structures
and a building
remaining
for
were in
bathing.
different states of demolishment.
Besides these 4,
there
the
were a
structures
few
remaining
old
were
wells,
in different
one
states
just near
of
the camp
demolishment.
beside the road.
There were
But
a
the
few
land
old
with
wells,
its mostly
one
poor
just near the
soil
camp
remained
beside the
fallow.
road.
Somehow,
But the land with
Kaikushu
its
felt
mostly
compelled
poor
to
soil
buy
remained
the property.
fallow. Somehow, Kaikushu felt compelled to buy the property.
Because of her experiences and associations, Kaikushu's wife
Because
Gul
of
was
her
despondent
experiences
about
and
life.
associations, Kaikushu's wife Gul
But
was
in the year
despondent about life.
1919, she met Upasi Maharaj and his
But
main
in the year
disciple, Merwan,
1919,
for the
she
first
met
time.
Upasi Maharaj and his main disciple, Merwan, for the
The
first
purpose
time.
of her life became clear, though now she had to face
The
more
purpose of her
antagonism
life
from
became
their
clear,
community and family
though now
members
she had to
who
face
had little
more
or no
antagonism
regard
from
for
their
spiritual
community and family
masters.
members who had little or no regard for spiritual
Gulori
masters.
Shah, a somewhat reclusive saint known locally as Maula
Gulori
Baba,
Shah,
was
a
friendly to
somewhat
Kaikushu
reclusive saint
Gulmai and
known
their
locally
family.
as Maula Baba,
Born
was
in
friendly
Baghdad
to Kaikushu
around
Gulmai and their
1830,
family.
he served as a
Born
steward
in
on sailing
Baghdad
ships as a young
around
man.
1830, he served as a steward on sailing ships as a young man.
At some point, he traveled to the mountains of central India and stayed
At
with a
some
spiritual
point,
master
he
there
traveled
for
to
some
the
time.
mountains of central India and stayed with a spiritual master
As
there
his
for some
fate would
time.
have it, he eventually became a butler for the British
As
royal
his fate
family.
would have it, he eventually became a butler for the British royal family.
Apparently, upon his retirement, he was awarded a good amount of gold as
Apparently,
a pension.
upon his
But
retirement,
somewhere
he was
along the
awarded
return
a
journey
good
to
amount
India,
of gold
he
as a
threw this
pension.
into some
But
body
somewhere
of water.
along the return journey to India, he threw this into some body of water.
Gulori Shah came to stay in Ahmednagar by the end of the 19th century.
Gulori Shah
And
came to
it is
stay
not
in
by
Ahmednagar
chance
by
that he
the end
chose
of
to
the 19th
associate with
century.
Kaikushu
And it is
Gulmai and
not
their
by
family.
chance that he chose to associate with Kaikushu
They would
Gulmai
become
and their family.
instrumental in helping the young Meherabad
They would
establish the
become
place that would become
instrumental
the
in helping
hub
the
of
young
the major part
Meherabad
of his work
establish
and
the place that
activities.
would become the hub of the major part of his work and activities. Just after Kaikushu had purchased the property leases for the Arangan camp, Gulori Shah asked him for a small plot there, saying that he would like to spend the rest of his days at that quiet place. Over the next few years, he occasionally made the same request. Since Gulmai provided him with his daily meals, she put him off by telling him that it would be difficult to send his food such a long distance. However, the real reason they were reluctant to give him what he wanted was that they knew what trouble it would bring them from their Orthodox Zoroastrian community and extended family, who did not accept the possibility of spiritually advanced persons. Yet, despite that social pressure, Gulmai had begun spending time at the ashram of Upasni Maharaj in Sakori. During this period, Merwanji was also often at Sakori while Upasni Maharaj finished his work of establishing his most special disciple in complete human consciousness, so that he who would soon become known as Meher Baba would be able to feel the world completely and suffer for it every day for the rest of his life. Early in 1921 at Sakori, Meher Baba told Gulmai that her role was to be his spiritual mother. A few months later, Upasni Maharaj told her that Merwan was now her master, that she should serve and obey him, and that from now on she should take his direction concerning all her personal affairs. Indeed, during that time, Upasni Maharaj informed many people that Merwan was now perfect and that they should follow him. One night in 1922, Gulmai dreamt that she was holding a baby in her arms wrapped in a blanket. When she uncovered the baby's face, she was surprised to see that it was Gulori Shah, who said to her, "Mother, I am so tired, and you still haven't given me my place to rest." When she awoke and told her husband of the dream, Kaikushu said, "This is a definite sign. Now we must give him what he wants." Gulmai replied, "Nevertheless, I will speak to Meher Baba about it, and we will abide by whatever he says." The next day, however, Gulmai quietly sent a mason to accompany Gulori Shah to the property near Arangaon, and with some of his devotees, they all came in tongas. The saint got down, and walking to that spot, with a stick in his hand, he marked the plot that he wanted, declaring that he wanted his tomb to be built here. As the mason was marking the four corners in the ground with mortar, Gulori Shah's followers questioned him about choosing such a desolate, distant place, when some of his wealthy Muslim followers had offered much nicer sites near the city. He replied, "You people are like children, you know nothing. One day this place will belong to the whole world. Soon the Great One will come to stay here. Whenever he walks by, the dust from his feet will settle upon my tomb." Kaikushu and Gulmai had 4 children. Their sons, Rustam and Adi, were staying in Bombay during this time at Meher Baba's first ashram, Manzil-e-Mim. Under Baba's guidance there, many of the early disciples, or mandali, began to develop the strict discipline and special understanding required to follow the master. In February of 1923, Meher Baba's birthday was celebrated there at Manzlimim. On the following day, the engagement of Kaikhosru and Gulmai's eldest son was finalized there. Rustam would marry Freni from another close family of Baba's followers. Afterwards, during conversation with Gulmai, Baba mentioned that he was planning to leave Bombay for some quiet place that would be more suitable for the ashram, where he could ensure that the young men staying with him would have plenty of hard work. She told him about their property near Arangaon and that for the past 4 years, Gulori Shah had been asking them for a plot there, where he now wanted his tomb. Without hesitation, Baba told Gulmai to give the saint what he wanted, and to make sure that Kaikhosru, who was now a Kanseb of Ahmednagar, paid for everything. Upon their return to Ahmednagar, they informed Gulori Shah of the decision. He said, "Do it quickly. I want it to be ready when he comes." The plan was that Gulmai would bring Baba to the property some day after Rustam and Freni's wedding, which would take place on the 9th of May, 1923. Manzil-e-Imam was closed on April 20th, and Meher Baba came to Ahmednagar with some of his mandali. They stayed at Khosru Quarters, a supply depot compound that Kaikhosru had leased. Baba stayed in one room there in seclusion for 7 days and then went to Happy Valley with some of the mandali for about a week. They celebrated Upasni Maharaj's birthday there that year by feeding the local poor on the 3rd of May. However, Baba was restless to return to Ahmednagar, so they left before midnight, walking the 10 miles back to Khosru Quarters. Relatives and friends had already been arriving in town for the wedding celebration, and many of them were also staying at Khosru Quarters. Though Meher Baba and many of his followers were born into the Zoroastrian faith, that community did not have a spiritual heritage like the Hindus and Muslims. Most Zoroastrians considered Meher Baba and his followers deluded or worse. How could this young man who grew up amongst them be anything special? Yet, through the years, by his own direction, Meher Baba and his followers would tolerate the humiliating indignation of the Zoroastrians and religious orthodoxy in general. Baba was already in an irritated mood the next morning because not yet returned from Sakori as he had asked. She had gone there to celebrate Upasni Maharaj's birthday with some of Baba's other followers. As Adi was helping Baba wash up, he mentioned to Baba that an atmosphere of criticism against him had developed there, instigated mostly by Gulmai's brother and brother-in-law, the other Kaikhosru. Baba abruptly walked away, leaving Adi to inform the other mandali. One of their standing orders at the time was to follow Baba wherever he went. So they immediately dropped whatever they were doing and hurried to catch up. Without explaining anything, he walked west towards the railway station on the end of town. Instead of boarding a train, however, at the station he turned south and continued leading them another 5 miles. There was a masonry parapet around the base of this neem tree then. When they arrived there, Baba sat on it, facing east, and pointed out the ready but unoccupied crypt. He commented about the serene atmosphere and the spaciousness, and that it would be a very good place for them. Then, seemingly naive, Baba asked, "I wonder who owns this place?" Adi replied, "Oh, I think my father owns this property." And Baba responded, "Good, tell him to give it to me." At that point, the watchman of the property appeared and informed them that indeed the place belonged to Kaikushru Saroshi Rani of Ahmednagar. The long walk without breakfast on that summer morning left them hungry and very thirsty, so Baba sent 2 of the Mandali to the village to bring what they could. Exploring the property, they came to the post office building near the railway tracks first. Meanwhile, in Arangaon, an old carpenter supplied Beramji and Slemson with bakri and a bucket on a rope to draw water from the well. They returned quickly and everyone refreshed themselves. After they had gone back to the post office, Rustam arrived on his motorcycle. He had followed Baba's path by inquiring from people along the way. In an anxious mood, Rustam asked Baba why he left. Baba replied that he did not wish to stay anywhere where they were not wanted. Rustam asked, "But then what about your attending the wedding?" "I've changed my mind," Baba replied coldly. More upset, Rustam protested, "I only agreed to getting married because you said you would attend the wedding. Now I'll just call the whole thing off." Baba consoled Rustam, reassuring him that it was his wish that he and Freni be married. Baba explained that it would be better if he and the Mandali did not attend the wedding ceremony. However, Rustam and Freni were to come to him soon after for his blessing. In the meantime, Baba and the Mandali would stay away at the Arangaon property. Rustam was told to send the group's baggage from Kushru quarters. Baba and the Mandali spent that first day inspecting the property and making a list of materials they would need to do cleaning and maintenance. They cleaned the large veranda of the post office that afternoon. That evening, the old carpenter from Arangaon brought them a simple kerosene lamp. Baba told him, "Your house will always have light." He would become Baba's first disciple from Arangaon, as well as his first Christian follower. Baba did allow that he and the Mandali would at least be close by for Rustam and Freni's wedding. He came back to Ahmednagar with the Mandali on the 8th of May, staying at Sarosh Manzil, the large new home of Kaikushru and Gulmai. Baba and Gustaji occupied the cupola tower room, while the Mandali spread out in the large hall that was the upper floor. Instead of attending the wedding ceremony, however, Baba ordered the Mandali to help in the preparation work for the reception feast. Under Beramji's direction, they washed and cut vegetables for the cooks and served the food, all the while getting the cold, silent treatment from many of the Zoroastrian and European guests. Tasty special vegetarian food had been prepared for the Mandali to enjoy afterwards, But when Baba found that the cooks had carelessly used the utensils for the non-vegetarian food to prepare it, he forbade the Mandali to eat it. Ramju remarked that in the end, they did not feel welcome as guests or servants. The atmosphere of hostility against Baba continued behind his back. Gulmai's brother openly accused Baba of trying to usurp their property at Arangan. She would argue that there was no question of usurpment if they wanted him to be there. Of course, Baba came to know of the quarreling and left Sarosh Manzil with the Mandali on the morning of the 11th. They walked to a dharamshala near the station and spent the night there, discussing where they might go next. After all their belongings had been brought from Meherabad, the next day Baba had the men pack everything in trunks, which they carried through town to be stored at Khushru quarters until they settled somewhere. Gulmai's heart sunk when she heard that Baba was leaving. After they returned to the dharamshala, Khushru came to speak with Baba. He pleaded, "On behalf of my family, I beg your forgiveness for the way you and your people were treated. Please stay and feel free to make use of the property at Arangan." Baba answered, "A fakir has no home, and at the same time he has everything. He only stays in one specific place for certain reasons. I do not wish to create differences or divide your family by staying in Arangan." Khushru responded, "I don't care what others think. I care about Gulmai, and right now she is beside herself with grief over what has happened. Please accept my prayer to remain in Arangan." Baba was touched by Concept Khushru's appeal and agreed to stay. So the next day, May 13th, they returned to the property, residing at the post office while they cleaned and repaired the mess quarters bungalow. One day soon after that, Baba called Gulmai and her sister Suna and their daughters to the Arangan property. They had Baba's darshan and then accompanied him to the hill to see the large two-chambered water tank. After they inspected the well-built edifice, Baba told Gulmai, "This is the perfect place for my work. Will you give it to me?" Gulmai replied, "Yes, Baba, it is already yours. Everything is yours. Why do you even have to ask?" And he was happy. Baba had told Gulmai that he would take 2 of her children to stay with him, Adi and Dali, while the other 2 could live in the world. He told Gulmai's daughter Peroja then that she had to get married. Suna's 13-year-old daughter Khorshid began to worry that Baba might also order her to get married. She longed to stay with him. As Baba quickly walked ahead of the others on the path down the hill, small Khorshid ran to catch up and called out to him, "Wait, Baba, I have to tell you something. Please wait." Baba stopped and turned and asked, "Yes, tell me, what is it?" Khorshid said, "Please, Baba, never give me an order to marry. Please, because I only want to stay with you." Baba replied, "It is all right. I know everything. My nazar is on you, so don't worry. You will be safe. I will never tell you to marry." On the 19th of May, several of the older women devoted to Baba came to Meherabad to settle the issue of Mera's engagement to be married. Against tradition and convention, Baba disregarded the opinion of all the others and let 16-year-old Mera decide for herself. Though she was shy, she mustered up the courage to say firmly, "I don't want to marry. I will never want to marry." Baba said, "There, you heard her. Now never bring up the subject again." Though she had been staying in Upasni Maharaja's ashram, Mera had Baba's darshan for the first time that day at the post office. She would become Baba's closest and most important disciple. At the end of that first short stay at the Arangan property, Baba abruptly decided to travel far north to Quetta with a group of his Mandali. But before they left on the 25th of May, Baba named the place. He ordered Nervous, one of his men, to paint a signboard mounted on 2 posts. It was planted near the railway tracks by the post office and read, Meherabad.
करेगा कौन मेहर का काम करेगा कौन मेहर का काम करेगा कौन काम करेगा कौन मेहर का काम करेगा कौन मेहर का काम करेगा कौन मेहर का काम करेगा कौन
बोलिए अवतार मेहर बाबा
ऐसा कौन मेहर का काम करेगा कौन अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
जरा रुकिए, एक फरमाइश आई है ख़ास तौर से हमीरपुर में। किसी ने वो भजन सुना होगा, नौरंगा में गाया जाता था, जिसका आज के कार्यक्रम से संबंध है। बाबा बैठे नीम की छैया, नजरिया लाग जई है रे।
नजरिया, हाँ
आता है?
हाँ जी, हाँ
तो
जी।
सुना दीजिए।
बाबा चलो हमारे साथ अकेले
नजरिया लाग जहरे
झूठ जहरे दुनिया रूठ जहरे जमाया झूठ जहरे दुनिया रूठ जहरे दुनिया रूठ जहरे जमाया झूठ जहरे माया हमारे संग अकेले हम ना जलीले कि बाबा चलो हमारे साथ नजरिया लाग जहरे कि बाबा चलो हमारे साथ अकेले हम ना जलीले
मेहर बाबा की जय। हाँ जी,
और है बैंड
हाँ,
बजाने
अब वो
के
बैंड
लिए।
के साथ होगा।
हाँ, और बैंड के साथ आपकी विदाई सबकी तरफ से 10 मिनट।
गाया मुंह से, अब इससे गाएंगे।
हाँ, 10 मिनट।
बोलो मैं है प्रभु नाम 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 बनेंगे सारे काम बिगड़े बनेंगे सारे काम बोलो सब मिल
अवतार मेहर बाबा की, अवतार मेहर बाबा की, अवतार मेहर बाबा की।
आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और आपकी अच्छी विदाई हो, सबका प्रेम लेके जाएं।
सबसे जय बाबा साहब। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय, अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय, अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
और अभी एक सरप्राइज़ आइटम आपके सामने और प्रस्तुत होगा जो पहले से तय नहीं है, मगर ये जो अभी इन्होंने एक भजन गाया इनकी टीम ने, उसमें एक बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट मैसेज था और वो शायद उनको खुद भी नहीं मालूम कि उसका महत्व कितना है और हम लोगों ने भी उस पर ध्यान नहीं दिया। उसकी ओपनिंग लाइन थी जो भजन पहले गाया, वो बादशाह अकबर की स्टोरी है कि बीरबल ने उनसे एक बार पूछा कि जब आप किसी को कुछ देते हैं हर बार, तो आपकी नज़रें नीचे क्यों झुक जाती हैं? जब आप दान देते तो उसके आंखों में देख के नज़र मिला के कुछ देना चाहिए। तो उन्होंने उनको जवाब दिया कि देनहार को और है, देनहार को और है, भेजत है दिन रैन, लोग भरम हम पर करत, तात से नीचे नैन। देने वाला कोई और है, वो भेजता है, लोग मुझ पर भ्रम करते हैं कि मैं देने वाला हूँ, तो उसी शर्म से मेरी आंखें झुक जाती हैं। एंड दिस इज़ द मैसेज प्रॉबेबली आई कॉट अप टुडे कि अभी डिपार्टिंग मैसेज क्या होगा, अपन सब मिले तो यहाँ से लेके साथ में क्या जाएंगे, तो शायद यही मैसेज है कि वो पूरे समय हम लोगों को देते रहते हैं, बट वी हैव दैट ईगो, दैट प्राइड, दैट आई एम डूइंग दिस, आई एम डूइंग दैट। और उसके लिए एक बहुत अच्छा, बाबा से किसी प्रेमी ने उनको बोला कि बाबा मैं आपके लिए ये प्रोजेक्ट कर रहा हूँ, वो प्रोजेक्ट कर रहा हूँ, ये काम कर रहा हूँ, वो काम कर रहा हूँ। तो बाबा ने उसकी पीठ ठोकी कि तुम बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हो, बट रिमेंबर, you have to remember this, that you are my project. So each one of us are Baba's project. और बाबा ने फिर उससे पूछा भी कि are you happy with that, कि तुम मेरे प्रोजेक्ट हो। तो ये कितनी इम्पॉर्टेंट बात है और कितनी इम्पॉर्टेंट बातें इस कार्यक्रम के माध्यम से अपन को सुनने को मिली, अपना ध्यान वहाँ पे गया। तो ये इस तरह से जो कार्यक्रम बाबा का हुआ, उसमें उन्होंने हम लोगों को बहुत सारी चीज़ें हमको भर के दी, हमारा झोली भर दी, और वो सब हम लेके जाएंगे। अभी जो आपके सामने एक सरप्राइज़ आइटम है, वो आइटम ये है कि सुबह जब जैनिस ने उपासनी महाराज की आरती बजाई थी, गाई थी, तो बहुत से लोग इतने अभिभूत हो गए कि उनके मन में उसको फिर से सुनने का विचार था, मगर वहाँ पे समय ख़त्म हो गया था। तो मुझे उनके इच्छा में एक बाबा का मैसेज मिला, क्योंकि वो उपासनी महाराज की आरती थी। तो सुबह जब वो गाई गई तो हम लोगों को ऊपर 7वीं भूमिका पर ले जाया गया, 7th प्लेन, गॉड रियलाइजेशन। मगर गॉड रियलाइजेशन के बाद काम पूरा नहीं होता, उपासनी महाराज बनने के लिए फिर नीचे आना पड़ता है। तो नीचे आने के लिए फिर से वो आरती बजाई जाएगी ताकि आपका वो सर्कल पूरा हो जाए। इसलिए आप सब की ओर से जिनकी इच्छा थी कि वो दोबारा सुना जाए, तो आप जैनिस आपके सामने फिर से वो आरती प्रस्तुत करेंगी और इसके बाद ही आज का कार्यक्रम ये समाप्त हो जाएगा। फिर भी आरती अपने समाधि 8:30 तक खुली रहेगी, तो जब यदि टाइम रहे आप दर्शन करना चाहें तो कर सकते हैं। और ये आज का समापन कार्यक्रम है। जर्नी पूरी हो रही है, ऊपर गए, अभी वापस आके पूरा कार्ड हो गया और उपासनी महाराज बन गए। उनकी ज़रूरत इसलिए है कि बाबा को उनका साक्षात्कार कराने के लिए उपासनी महाराज की आवश्यकता थी। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
Testing. Jai Baba, Tar Meher Baba ki jai.
This was? Can you see it?
I think so.
I think this is a little over. Just
In front of me though.
this was?
Tar Meher Baba ki jai. Upasni Maharaj, Emperor of sadhus and saints, justice, equity, and fiery love made you their king. Let us always meditate on you and repeat your name, Upasni Maharaj. Oh Master, you are formless, attributeless, purest of all. By annihilating your ego, you became God Himself. Liberate us from the clutches of Maya and bestow on us the name of God. Free us from this worldly bondage and hand us the cup of divine wine to drink. Oh Master, you are formless, attributeless, the purest of all. Keep
keep us away from the snares of lust, greed, and anger. Bestow on us divine light by annihilating our ego. Help us to cross the sea of illusion. Help us to cross the sea of illusion. Master, you are formless, attributeless, the purest of all. We, your servants, give up all religious ceremonies and rituals for your sake. So liberate us from these and let us always be near your feet. We dedicate to you our body, mind, and soul. Come what may, make us sink or swim. Oh, Master, you are formless, attributeless, the purest of all. Turn sinners into saints by making us virtuous. In your mercy, make our souls one with God. You are all powerful, all merciful, the very essence of freedom. Oh, Master, you are formless, you're attributeless, the purest of all. You reside in all, the rich and the poor, the good and the evil. You see only God in everything and everywhere. You are always the same. You have no religion or caste. Oh, Master, you are formless, attributeless. You're the purest of all. The embodiment of truth, all knowledge, power, and bliss. The Master, together we offer you our heartfelt praise and worship. Oh, your worship, your devotees salute you and bow down to you again and again and again. Oh Master, you are formless, attributeless, the purest of all, purest of all.
Thank you so much. With this, today's program is ending. We are so grateful to you. And एक चीज़ इनके संगीत में जो हम लोगों को समझ में आती है वो ये है कि भाषा और लैंग्वेज उसके परे जो प्रेम की आवाज़ है वो अपनी अलग होती है। अभी उसके शब्द समझने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, वो अपने हृदय को स्पर्श कर रहा है और वही महत्वपूर्ण है। और इसीलिए शायद लोगों ने, जिनको सुबह अंग्रेजी भी नहीं समझ में आई होगी, उस आवाज़ से प्रभावित होकर प्रार्थना की कि ये दोबारा किया जाए। तो इस सब कार्यक्रम के साथ और आप सबका धन्यवाद और मेहर बाबा को धन्यवाद देते हुए आप सब आज के कार्यक्रम से विदा लीजिए। उन्होंने हम लोगों को ये अवसर दिया ये सब देखने का, सुनने का और सबके साथ रहने का। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।